And right? All right. So look, let me get one thing out of the way. I voted against this law because I thought it was unnecessary. But we're not here to debate whether or not it's a good idea anymore because the law passed. We can't go back and change it. Our first chance to change it would be 2017. So I feel like it's my obligation now to work with these two guys, great guys, to help explain to you how it works. All right, so let's start with some very simple stuff, and then you guys jump in whenever you want, and I'll pass it. The first is, everyone here understands that you can carry a concealed handgun if you have the license, right? What this law does is allow what normally would be a concealed handgun permit and turns it into a permit to carry it either concealed or openly, which means you can have the handgun on a holster, on your waist, or a shoulder holster. Now, what does that mean for you guys? That means that businesses, if they want to prevent open carry, and if you want to allow it, allow it. You don't do a thing. You're fine. If you want to prevent it, you essentially have two options. One is you can go up to the person who has the gun and say, ma'am or sir, and sometimes it is a ma'am. Ma'am or sir, you know, we don't allow firearms here. Please take it back to your car or leave the premises. And they have to do it. But what I found is that most people want to avoid that confrontation. They don't want to have that conversation. And let me explain to you a little bit about why this is a big deal for me. I represent you guys, this building, but also up just south of the airport and all of downtown. So you can imagine I've got areas like this. I've got Commerce, I've got McCullough, Blanco, but I've also got the Riverwalk, I've got downtown, I've got Hemisphere, and resoundingly these folks don't want it. So they're asking me to help them understand how it works. Just last week we were talking to a bunch of hotels. So here's the sign. The law requires a separate sign if you want to prevent open carry, which is the open display of a firearm, or concealed carry. Let's say that you own a business and you want to prevent open carry and concealed carry. You would need a sign for both, one each. If you want to prevent just open carry, but you're okay with concealed carry, you'd put one sign up. The law requires the sign to be about this big. The state didn't give us a sign to use, but they did say, one, that the letters in the background have to have a strong contrast. It doesn't have to be black and white, but have to have a strong contrast. And that the letters have to be at least an inch high. We printed off 1,000 signs and took a tape measure and realized they're about a quarter centimeter too small. We sent them all back because we want to make sure that they abide with the law. So now the signs that we have some to pass out, are at least an inch high. The problem with that is that, you know, if you're HEB or you're Target, you've got a lot of window space to put one up. If you're a small business owner, you don't have a lot of real estate to use. And so there's really no way to make this sign much smaller. Look, I admit that I added this part right here, but even if you took that out, the sign's going to be about that big. And so a lot of our work has been working with business owners to help them understand what their rights are and residents understand what they can expect when they come to a business. Now, we can talk about the places where open carry is or isn't allowed. I can tell you that one of the things that's been hard for us is that, you know, public parks are eligible. You can open carry now in a public park. And that includes Hemisphere, and that includes the Riverwalk. One of the big conversations that we had, one of the big concerns that we had was, what about the businesses that are owned privately but are on public land? Think of Landry's in the Tower of the Americas, or some of the businesses along the Riverwalk. And what we've decided, well, the interpretation is that they can prevent open carry. But I want to be very, very clear. I'm going to pass it to our district attorney right now. One of the things about the law I really didn't like, aside from just the general law, is that it leaves it up to your local DA, this man, to be the interpreter and the enforcer of the law, which means all the things that we're telling you today apply to Bexar County. You may go to another county, there may be a different